Imagine having a dose of inspiration delivered directly to your heart every single day. That's my intention when I send out the daily inspo text, an encouraging text message that arrives to your phone free of charge. I send quotes like, "Start from wherever you are with whatever you've got," by Jim Rohn. Then I'll add a couple of thoughts to help you reflect on your day. If you're interested, text me at 949-401-6090 and say, "Hello, Dave." And you'll get an automatic reply with a link where you can add yourself as one of my contacts. It's absolutely free, and of course, you can unsubscribe at any time. Go ahead, text me now, 949-401-6090. Say hello, and I'd love to start sending you a daily dose of inspiration.
Hypnosis helps you release that fear, that shame, that guilt that can cloud what the human experience really is. And it's here to give love, show love, receive love.
Welcome to Inspiration Rising. My name is David Trotter, and I'm a business growth consultant. I'm passionate about helping business owners, just like you, rise above your biggest barriers to reach your greatest goals, all without the paralyzing overwhelm, feeling all alone, or wondering what the heck to do next. I'm a former pastor and a serial entrepreneur who's passionate about personal growth because that's what's helped me cultivate peace in my life and empowered me to love my amazing wife, Laura, of 26 years, and our 2 almost grown kids. So if you're all about business, personal growth, and peace in your life, you're in the right place. I'm super glad that you're here. Hello, friends, and welcome back to Inspiration Rising. Super glad that you're here with me today. Well, every summer, my family and I usually go to the Orange County Fair, which is here in Southern California, literally like a block away from where we live, at the Orange County Fairgrounds. And at least one evening, we go there and we kind of stroll around and eat meat and fried food and look at all the beautiful lights, and it's super fun. And of course, there's all the entries into the county fair, and there's lots of interesting art and photography and all kinds of things. So last year, on our way out, we were getting ready to head out to the car. I noticed a large crowd over by one of the stages. And so I ended up dragging my family over to see, what was going on. I'm like, "Come on, let's go check it out." And there were about 10 people on stage acting like cats while this hypnotist was supposedly, controlling them. And my mind starts wondering, is this real? No, I don't think so. He must have recruited these people before the show started and told them exactly what to do. But what if it is real? This is dangerous. And see, that's what I was told about hypnotism when I was a kid. It's dangerous. It's demonic. And you don't want someone else to be able to control you. Now, that may sound childish to you. You may think, well, it's not really real, or it's just entertainment, or no, it actually has benefit. I don't know what you have ever learned or thought about hypnotism, but what we hear as a kid oftentimes gets locked deep in our psyches and actually prevents us from seeing the benefits of what was originally presented as dangerous or even evil. Well, I love my conversation with Juliet Obodo, a self-described brain trainer who's a master hypnotherapist and NLP practitioner and trainer. Juliet spent a decade running 2 six-figure businesses, which ultimately led to her severe burnout. And I know a thing about that for sure. And so during her search for healing, she rediscovered NLP and hypnosis and began to coach other stressed out business owners. Now, in this episode, we get to hear all about her own journey into hypnotherapy and how tapping into your subconscious is the key to your success. Now, if this episode would be helpful for a friend, I want to encourage you to pass it along to them. Tell them to listen to the Inspiration Rising podcast on their favorite podcast app or on our website at insporising.com/podcast. All right, let's jump into my conversation with Juliet Obodo. Juliet, thank you so much for taking time to hang with me today. I appreciate it. It's good to be with you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about hypnosis.
Yes. Tell me about when you were introduced to hypnotherapy and how did you find out about it and how did it kind of initially impact your life?
So it's funny. It's not really like a magical story at all. It was really,
Then make one up. Just make up a story that makes it more magical.
it was really like really silly reasons, but actually it wasn't actually silly. I was working in corporate. It was in my early 20s. And in the past, when I was in relationships, I would, whenever we broke up, I would spiral. And like, I wouldn't go to class, or I wouldn't want to go to parties. And being, an adult and paying for my bills, I knew I couldn't experience that at work. Like, they would be like, you're fired. Can't skip class. And so I looked up hypnosis, or I looked up how to get over a breakup easily. And I discovered a hypnotherapist in New York. And so I actually went to the hypnotherapist, and we did cord cutting, and we did a hypnosis to help me like release the person. And it worked so well that I didn't realize how well it worked until a few months later.
Wow.
When someone asked me about the breakup, because usually it would be hurt for a breakup like 6 months, 8 months, like really ruminating on something. And this was a longer term relationship. So I knew like, oh no, I don't want to spend a year on this. And so that's when I was like, wow. And then NLP for sales. And then that helped me in my corporate career. But it's funny how I forgot about it until just a few years ago, when I experienced burnout as an entrepreneur. And that's when I joined a program, and it had a hypnosis audio in it, and it really helped me. And I just remembered in my life, just like the instances where I felt stuck in love and business and career, how these forms of therapy have really got me results. Because I go to a therapist, but it's really just to unpack a lot of what's going on in my mind. Mm-hmm. But the actual resolution and the actual release from this stuckness was because of hypnosis and NLP. And I wanted to be able to provide that for my clients at the time, because at the time I was running businesses where I helped startups get funding. And a lot of the clients, they wouldn't turn in applications, or they wouldn't do certain things because of their belief system. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you can't get funding if you don't apply. Sure. But they couldn't push past that. Or if I did get them funding, they would self-sabotage and spend it on things that didn't help their business. Mm-hmm. So I had to, I wanted to incorporate that into my business, but I ended up just starting a completely different business and not even going back to funding, because I thought like, I just want to help people in any areas with this. It's so powerful.
Wow. Okay. So I've got to be honest, Juliet. I grew up in kind of just a Christian background, probably more conservative Christian. I actually was a pastor for over 10 years. And so anytime that hypnosis was brought up, okay, it was like, this is satanic. This is of the devil. And so, I'm still a little bit like, is this fake? Like, I'm at the county fair. Like, we got a county fair, Orange County Fair here in Southern California. There's a hypnotist up there. People are like barking like dogs and, meowing like cats. So that's one person where I'm going, this is like a sideshow. And then the other part of me goes, I'm joking. I don't feel this way, anymore, but like, this is satanic. Like, Juliet's a witch doctor here. Right. So everybody's got these different perspectives on what hypnosis is. So if you were to describe hypnosis to someone who didn't have any background at all, how would you describe it to them?
Yeah. So my background is I was actually going to become a nun because I was raised Catholic. Yeah. But now I'm a Christian. So I'm not a nun, but in terms of hypnosis and religion, or feeling like you're being brainwashed, or feeling like it's out of your control, those are all myths, and they're for entertainment purposes only. Hypnosis is essentially right before you go to sleep, that moment between sleep and waking. Imagine you spent the day worrying about something, and then right before you go to sleep, you say to yourself, at the end of the day, it's all going to be okay. And you release it. You would easily fall asleep. And then the next morning you wake up not worrying, not in that worried state, right? But if you continuously go to sleep in that worried state, you're going to wake up in that worried state. And hypnosis is really just bringing you back to self and giving you the clarity to see everything that the creator put you here to enjoy, that your purpose, your mission, how to help others, how to help yourself, how to help your family. Hypnosis is all about clarity, not control.
Mm-hmm. All about clarity, not about control. Okay. So what's happening physically and psychologically during hypnosis? Maybe describe a hypnosis session. I asked if you would hypnotize me. You said no. I was like, what the heck? I get it. Whatever. Maybe I'm like, trying to make you look bad. I'm not trying to make you look bad. I'm trying to make you look awesome.
Yeah. No, because so with hypnosis, because sometimes the hypnosis I do, we release very strong emotions that people don't realize. So the last time I had that first session, the person was really crying. So then they didn't release the episode. So I was like, okay.
It's a waste of my time if I'm going to hypnotize you. Yeah.
I didn't want to, because it's very personal to the people that
you were protecting me from embarrassment is what you're saying. Yes.
Exactly.
You're so kind.
It's like you could describe my job as making people cry on camera.
So what's happening with hypnosis? Maybe take us through, kind of describe a session if we're not familiar with it. What is the session? How does it start? What does it look like? What's happening physiologically? What's happening psychologically? What are the goals?
So even before a session, I send a questionnaire to my clients to help them kind of identify what's going on internally. Because a lot of times the problem that we think we have is just a symptom of a deeper problem, a root cause, right? And so the questions that I send them helps them bring that information up. And then I ask them what their human design is, what your life path number is as well. Because
okay, you're speaking voodoo now. Human design. What is your human design and what's your life path number? Okay, tell me about both of those. Break it down for me.
Your life path number. Both are kind of like astrology, and you put in your birthday and your birth time. And so, what I really like about human design is because it's about energy. Because there's a lot of advice out there that people, that's pretty simple, structured advice. And so people feel like when they take that advice and it doesn't work for them, the failure is on their part. When it's just a basic structure and it's not customized to you. So for example, the advice, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, right?
Sure.
So for me, my human design is generator. That works perfectly. Right? For me, because I need to stay in line with things that I love to do, or I'm not going to feel motivated, feel stuck, and I'm more likely to burn out again. But for someone that's a manifester, they can do anything that they love. They pretty much love anything. They could create anything. So then they'll end up doing all this stuff and then burn out because they don't realize that advice doesn't really apply to them.
Sure. And if the thing that I love is eating potato chips, I don't know if that's going to be helpful either. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so human design. So how would I'm sure there are a number of websites. Do I Google what is my human design and somehow take a test or something? Or
yes, exactly. Yeah, okay. It's a free test. If you put human design test, it's a free site and you put in your birthday and your time. And then it gives you what comes out is a body graph. And this is how energy flows through your body. This is how you respond to certain tasks, to relationships, to languages, to locations, everything. Because, it's essentially like we're mostly water, right? And how that circulates through our body can affect our emotions, and our emotions affect our behavior, which affects the results. So I have my clients kind of take these, do these tests just to give them better insight
Sure,
on
sure. So
themselves.
human design is one test, life path number is another test.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Sorry
And
for
so
my
then,
ignorance. I appreciate your education.
oh no, no worries. Because I didn't know, I didn't realize until like I started to find out more about myself, and it made sense,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all, and when you are able to get this information about yourself, a lot of things start to make sense. And like why certain advice doesn't work for you, or why certain things don't work for you. So
Mm-hmm.
then it starts to make sense, versus you continuously to blame yourself or feel low because else is doing this and you're not. Why doesn't it come easy for me?
Mm-hmm.
So it helps put things into perspective, because that's all it is. And so by the time they come to the session, they have a shift, they have more hope and more insight. And then we discuss basically what their immediate issue is. And then through some questions, we're able to identify what the real issue is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's almost like coaching in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And when we identify what the root cause is, then it's usually linked to something that happened in early childhood,
Mm-hmm.
between the ages of 1 and 7. And so we actually do a trance where we go back in time on your subconscious timeline. So we go back to that memory that created that limiting belief,
Mm-hmm.
and then we release it.
Okay.
Because
And do they have to remember, like if you're 1 year old, I don't know if you 1 year old, I don't know if you can remember that trauma, but so do they have to remember it, or how do you know when you get to that point? Like maybe you identify the root cause is something in your coaching conversation with them. Do they need to buy into the fact that that's the root cause before you do the hypnosis?
no. So with my clients, they should just be, when they come to a session, they should be about 30 to 40% there. And then I take care of the rest. It's more important that I believe in you versus, confirmation bias, more
Mm-hmm.
that my clients will have success. So then they feel that, and they
Mm-hmm.
feel it'll transfer to them.
Mm-hmm.
So during the trance, what we do is it kind of relaxes you, because you're not consciously trying to think of something, when it's basically when you're trying to think of a name, or you're trying to think of something, or where your keys are. And then you give it a few moments, and then it just pops up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially the state that I put you in, that calm state where you could just like let the information flow to you come up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked them, when did this happen? When did this belief first come to be? Because a belief is really just a thought that you accepted as true at one point. There was one moment when someone said, for example, a client thought she was clumsy because her aunt or her mom always said that you're such a klutz, Like she fell twice, but then she took that on. And so she went back to a moment when they said that she was a klutz. And she's like, actually, I'm really not. I'm really, athletic and graceful. When other people would see her, she's a dancer, but she would always get hurt because at the back of her mind, she still thought of herself as a klutz.
Wow.
So released her from that belief that she believed is true. Because everything in life, everything that we experience is a suggestion, and we accept it to be true or false based on our initial filters, which our parents create for us and our teachers at a young age. So going back and shifting that, or releasing that and replacing it with something more empowering. So instead of that moment when your aunt said that you were klutz, we release that and we replace it with someone coming to you every day for a year and saying, you are so graceful. You're so adept physically. You're so amazing. Every day for a year. Imagine someone said that to you instead of that moment where you're klutz. The difference you would have in your confidence.
And then as they come out of this trance, you're bringing them out. What happens after that experience? What are you talking to them about, or what are they left with? Is there some sort of action step that they take? Do they keep coming back to you for hypnosis, or is it a one-time thing?
Yeah, so really it's one-time session, and then you have brain training audios afterwards. So the brain training is nighttime and daytime subliminals, and it's a repetition of a certain phrase or mantra or affirmations that are designed for that particular area of your life. I do have a program where we work with all the areas of your life for complete alignment. That's a year-long program. But after the year-long program, that's it. You're pretty much set, because I'm focused on giving you the tools, or revealing to you that you have more control over your free will. Basically, reminding you that you have free will, because that's something that we often forget. Because I understand we do seek safety and order. That's a natural response in our human bodies, because we do have threats to fatality. But we forget that we came here for an experience, to experience this earth, these gifts, everything, and to meet other people and to experience them. We forget that this is really kind of like a vacation for us, and it's a gift. It's a beautiful planet. It's a beautiful earth. And so the need to control us and our experience has overshadowed our purpose. So hypnosis helps you release that fear, that shame, that guilt that can cloud what the human experience really is. And it's here to give love, show love, receive love.
So what would be the issues that would, or maybe I should say, who would benefit from hypnosis? Like, is it anyone with any particular issue? Who would you suggest this is for?
Anyone really. I've hypnotized people up as young as 7 years old that had anxiety. It's wild that kids now so young are dealing with anxiety just because of everything that's going on.
Sure. And
so really anyone can be hypnotized. They're just different types of hypnosis methods. But for my clients who I work with especially are overthinkers, high achievers, that the strong friends that they don't really have anyone that they can go to because they're always the problem solvers. So they're constantly thinking, constantly worrying, constantly having to be on top of everything. So for them to be hypnotized, it allows them to have realize that they have more space mentally than they thought, and more freedom. And then they are able to also create better boundaries to say no to people so they don't have to take on that stress anymore. Because a lot of times we put ourselves last because we're afraid that if we say no, we'll end up alone. But you'll see that you'll actually have more than you thought you would have by just saying no.
I'm interested in this program that you have. It's called a Get Your Shift Together Boot Camp, and it's for people that are recovering from burnout. Is that correct?
Yes. So if you're recovering, or you've experienced it, or you're currently experiencing it, the boot camp is basically for you. For 5 days, we comb through the areas of your life, because a lot of times people think oh, I just need to take time off. Oh, I just need to switch jobs. Oh, I just need this. But it's not really external. It's internal. Because, that quote, wherever you go, there you are. It always switches around. It's you have stay-at-home moms now, but they were in corporate before, or had a business before, and they were very high-strung and type A. They're going to bring that into motherhood. Sure. And still be stressed out as stay-at-home moms. So it's
drive their kids crazy.
And now the kids are now the kids have to come see me for anxiety.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's an inside job. So with the boot camp, we go through each area of your life to align your beliefs, values, and behaviors, your habits in each area of your life. Because you shouldn't be oh, I'm such a great worker or such a great business person, but I'm the worst friend. It doesn't have to be like that. You can have it all. And burnout comes because you're trying to balance, you're trying to fill one cup more than the other. That's where burnout comes in. So essentially after 5 days, you realize that you have more than enough to fill all the cups. And you see how like you're filling one cup and then fills another. You never spill that energy. You never lose or go empty that way.
And this is obviously, you've said that you're primarily working with people that are more in the corporate environment, or people who are entrepreneurs who are type A personality driven. Do you find that as you're connecting with that type of person that they easily believe in hypnosis, or is that more of a hard thing for them to embrace?
So usually I'm their last result. Their last resort. So they usually try a lot of different things before they finally come to me. And then they're like, okay, I just need help. Help me. So, and that's fine, because that's how I discovered hypnosis, right? I was just like, I don't know what else to do. And it's really, hypnosis is, the solution is you. And you're the problem, but you're also the solution.
It's going within and finding where that sticking point is, whatever the issue is that's holding you back.
Exactly.
And it sounds like that sticking point is generally a belief in some way. Would you say it's always a belief?
Yes, it's either a belief or a very strong emotion based on something traumatic.
Yeah, a belief or an emotion that's stuck within you and you can't let it go, and it's holding you back in some way. And then it's manifesting in some sort of behavior or emotion in your life. What are the things that people often try before they come to you?
So some people will try coaching, life coaching. They will try business coaching. They will try to join like a competition, like Ironman or something like that. Plastic surgery sometimes, and meditation, yoga. They try to change their diet, things like that, but oftentimes they don't stick.
Give me some examples of people, obviously not by name, but give me some success stories, some people that have come to you and like talk to me about their breakthroughs.
Yeah. So in terms of self-image, for example, a client had body dysmorphia. She didn't see herself as beautiful or anything or thin. And she came to me because she wanted just weight loss. And so when she showed up on camera, I'm like, what? So I realized that it was her self-image. And so I moved forward with the session, but it was focused on self-image for her to see herself as who she really is. And that actually helped her get into better shape, but start to appreciate and love her body. And then we found out the belief was linked to her relationship with her father and her not feeling worthy. So it was like weight loss to then, the
worthiness.
Yes, exactly. And then I had another client that was really struggling with their business. Like they would make money, but lose it. So they were great at manifesting money and having money come to them. But once again, they would lose it. And then once again, it was tied to worthiness. Because they would get this money, but they would spend it or manifest an issue or something where they have to use that money to bail someone out of an emergency. And at the end of the day, they realized, wow, it was just that I deserve this money. And now they're, actually holding on and making more money, and they work less because they don't have to constantly try to fill up that bank account because of an emergency or something.
Sure.
And then I have another client that came to me for career development. Actually, she didn't feel like she wanted to increase her leadership capabilities. Like she didn't feel like she was showing up as her true self at work. So we did a career activation. Turns out that the job, it just wasn't for her. She realized that she already did have these capabilities as a leader. They just didn't appreciate it. So she ended up leaving and starting her own business.
Yeah. Powerful breakthroughs. Wow. Yeah. It's amazing how, there are things that you could talk about, process with friends, therapists, all kinds of things over a long period of time, but that there can be something in your life, whether it's hypnosis or some other kind of breakthrough experience that can just boom, and then you break through it. And then there's this transformation that you've been wanting to have, but it's like something, there was a breakthrough, right? A new way of thinking about something. A new belief was created. Something was healed in some way. Yeah. That's amazing.
Exactly. And so what hypnosis, because it's like either you get that transformation, you get stuck against the wall and then you're back against the wall and you just like break out. But hypnosis allows you not to have to get to that moment where you have your comfort zone and then you have to go to the very bottom. Like when millionaires lose all their money, how they can finally get back to that place within a relatively short period of time. But it's like, why did they have to lose all their money in the first place? How about you just are able to keep that money and keep growing and growing instead of having to leave your comfort zone just to have a challenge or to have something to look forward to.
Yeah. Fascinating. Tell me about your website, FWRDinstitute.com, FWRD Institute.com. I'm saying that right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. How did you come up with this name, and what was your desire here versus going with your own name or get your shift together or something like that?
So the previous business I had where I was getting people funding was Move Forward. And so when I was in corporate and we would work with applications for funding applications for business owners, the status that we would put was like, oh, they can move forward to the next step. And so when I started my business, I wanted to be able to give people that status all the time.
Yeah.
So you move forward, you're able to move forward.
Yeah.
And so when I switched to just working with hypnosis as a practice, I wanted it to give people the same energy.
Yeah.
Because what keeps us stuck is our link to the past. We're always looking back there as we're trying to walk, you're either going to knock into a wall or stay in the same place. So I want people to start to focus on the future and move forward.
That's so powerful. Wow. How do you keep yourself in a healthy place in order to create that atmosphere or that environment for the clients that you work with?
Yeah, it's funny, especially today, recently, I started to listen to my body a lot more, because as a former athlete, I'm so used to pushing my body and and then as an entrepreneur, pushing my mind, always pushing myself. So my clients are me, but so I'm more aware of my body. I listen. So if I need to push back appointments or sessions so I can just lay down and rest, I do that. And my clients are always accommodating because it's like, I need to practice what I preach in order to be able to hold space. And then the fact that I see clients one-on-one is a very big motivator, because I never want to show up with a half tank for them. Yeah. I need to be at like 150% when I show up. And so that helps me keep aligned. And what I consume, including media, who I'm friends with, like who I socialize with, the food I eat, my thoughts, the books. I'm really, really conscious now of my consumption. And I'm also conscious of my identity as a healer. So when things are happening online or someone says something, like people are like, what is hypnosis? Like 2 years ago, I'd be like, well, excuse me. like, oh, great question. I actually wrote an article about it. Here's the link. So I'm really strong in my identity as a healer now too. So I maintain that identity in all areas of my life, even in the grocery checkout line. Someone's like, eyes are itching. I'm like, oh, you should try putting what did I say? Turmeric or something on it. So it's like, I'm always in the mode to help.
Yeah.
no matter where I am.
Yeah.
So that helps that makes it easier to show up on sessions, show up anywhere, because it's not like I have to change costumes or put on a cape or something, so that makes it a lot easier energy wise too. And so that's why I teach my clients, like, who are you really? Who are you really? Not your demographic, not your namesake. Like, who are you really on here? Are you the person that makes things happen? Are you the person that has an answer for everything? Are you the person that has the information, or the information source? Are you the person that sees what's wrong and wants to to balance the scales, a disruptor? So lean into that, because what makes people feel stuck or upset or unfulfilled is only doing that sometimes, only being themselves like 30% of the time.
Sure. Question for you. Are you struggling to get your new business off the ground? Or is your business just not growing the way you want it to? What if you could rise above the barriers that are holding you back? What if you felt empowered instead of overwhelmed? What if you felt supported by me and other business owners as you develop a strategic, workable plan to grow your business and generate the sales you truly want? That's exactly what you'll experience in the Rise Up Business Academy, a 12-month group consulting program to help you significantly increase your income, all without the paralyzing overwhelm, feeling all alone, or wondering what to do next. For more information, check out insporising.com/riseup. That's insporising.com/riseup. The world needs what you have to offer. And so now is the time to invest in your business and your life. And I'm ready to help you rise up and soar. Yeah, my kids, they're 21 and 17. They love me being a business growth consultant in their life, helping them understand how to maximize every moment. They're like, Dad, please just stop. Just stop. Will you please just stop, Dad? I don't need advice. Dad, I don't need the best way. Well, if you actually microwaved it this way, it would be, they're like, Dad, I don't need better advice on how to microwave my food. Okay, we're good.
It's so funny because what the image that popped in my head was like you optimizing their breakfast.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I can optimize anything. Yes. I'm the kid who, when I was growing up, I would draw diagrams of my room in order to reorganize my room for it to be the most creative, effective, efficient, moving things around. What the heck, Juliet? What the heck?
But they'll love you for it. You'll always be the go-to, like, oh, Dad's got it.
Dad can figure it out. Yeah. When you are out meeting new people and they say, "Oh, Juliet, nice to meet you. What do you do? How do you spend your time? What are you all about? What do you do for a living?" What do you say?
I tell them I am a brain trainer.
Oh man, you are taking the sidestep. You just sidestepped me. Just boom. I'm a brain trainer. Okay.
You're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I help you basically get, mental fitness.
And then they say, how?
How? Through hypnosis.
And then their jaw drops, or they're kind of like, they kind of get that side eye, like, And you just stand there like, yep, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
They're like, that is so funny because I get this question when I'm in like an Uber. When I'm at Uber, well, before I'm in less Ubers now, but when I was in Ubers and they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a brain trainer. And then I would say hypnosis. They would ask you it would just like ask you questions like, can you tell my girlfriend to stop nagging me? And I'm like, well, it's more about you. I'll bring her in for a session.
Yeah. Maybe I'm actually going to help you not be such a jerk so she wouldn't nag you. How about
that? The first step is accountability.
That's awesome. Well, Juliet, I really appreciate you being willing to play with me and share your wisdom and experience and answer my ignorant questions. I feel more educated on this for sure. So there's the Get Your Shift Together boot camp. It happens every other month. And people can find out more information by clicking the link in the show notes. You can swipe up on your phone now and click it, or go to FWRDinstitute.com, / Institute. So good. Juliet, thank you so much for being with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk. I love talking about hypnosis, so this is a treat.
Hey, congrats on listening to another episode of Inspiration Rising. Why congrats? Because you're pouring education and inspiration into your mind and heart. And that's something we all need if we're going to grow our businesses and reach our goals in life. Now, if you enjoy Inspiration Rising, do us a favor, share it with a friend. Take a screenshot of your favorite episode and text it to them. Tell them to search for Inspiration Rising on their favorite podcast app and click subscribe. And if you haven't already, be sure to sign up for Inspo Text. That's our daily inspirational text messages. Just text me right now at 949-401-6090. That's 949-401-6090. Just say, hey, Dave, what's up? You'll get an automated reply with a link where you can add yourself as a contact. And of course, you can always unsubscribe. I want you to know today that you're inspired, empowered, and loved. Not because of the way you feel or what anyone else says about you, but because that's your true identity.